Hey nerds, another video. This one's not going to be a rant video. This one's actually going to be about Pokemon and how you can squeeze some money out of the current market in Pokemon. Now, a lot of you have watched my rant videos in the past 3 days, and I've got a lot of comments talking about how I must not have skin in the game, how I don't know what I'm talking about, blah, 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 blah. Let me get you a little bit of history about me. So, first of all, I've been in this game for quite some time. We've had this local game store here in Richfield, Utah for almost 10 years, and we've been able to build it from literally just a couple of shelves into a pack store to where we're going to need to get a new building. We're going to have to get a new place for our store eventually if we want to grow. We're pretty much capped of what we can do. So I'm pretty proud of what Zach and I have been able to do. And a lot of it's been by making savvy business decisions, by knowing the markets in and out, and by doing little tips and tricks here that I'm going to show you today. So again, I think we got off the wrong foot with a lot of people not understanding who I am, what I do, and why I'm concerned about the lazy money, about the what I call the bro money, that is not willing to do what it needs to do in a market to succeed, and all it's going to do is cause like a massive amount of money to enter into the hobby and a massive amount of money to leave the hobby. And so all it does is causes a bunch of headaches for distribution and supply issues, and then the market has to go through an equilibrium again. And I actually don't think, I think there's less money to be made. Yes, you can make some quick, easy money during this time and see some massive skyrockets in profits temporarily, but I would rather make slow year over year gains and be able to do this, have a healthy market for a long time rather than see just this massive influx of money that shouldn't be coming into the hobby. And of course, like I said, then it abruptly leaves too. So it just leads to these massive bull runs into bear markets. And again, not my cup of tea. So anyway, I'm going to show you something right now that is actually profitable to do if you were to, I know everyone's playing your TCG simulator. I think that comment was perfect. I think that's also one of the reasons why this whole craze for Pokemon cards right now is, someone pointed out in the comments that a lot of things that are spiking on online are things that are actually in the game, like products in the game. I don't know how to. I've never played TCG Simulator. I'm not interested in playing a game that's literally what I do all day long, every day. So I don't know much about it. So let's just preface it there. But I do find there probably is some correlation between TCG Simulator and what's going on in the market, because everyone's like, oh, wow, if I can do this on this little game, maybe I can do it in real life. It is much harder than that. Let me tell you, and let me show you what goes into, if you really want to be a flipper, you need to look for arbitrage opportunities to where you can actually break down products. So, you can just sell products. That's where I think a lot of the lazy money is right now. Is people are just they're thinking they're going to buy what's the latest set that comes out, like Stellar Crown, and the set that's coming out in Pokemon. They think they're going to buy into it and just immediately flip it for massive profits. And there are only a few times when that is doable. And typically speaking, those runs are very short-lived, and then we see a market correction, because if it were that easy, then everyone would do it all day long. And to address some of the comments too, where I've said that when a regular seller wants to compete with a store, you don't have the overhead that we have, but you also don't have the advantages that we have of people actually coming in, looking for product and buying product, and we'll have a massive edge over you with trying to then compete on the very oversaturated market of places like eBay and TCG Player. I'm not saying it can't be done, because it can be done, and I'm going to show you in this video exactly how it can be done. So again, there's a lot more to me than just someone that rants on the internet about things I don't like. And a lot of that was coming from ideals of how I wish things were. So things aren't the way I wish things were, and oftentimes there are some headaches and hiccups in the market, but even in bull markets and bear markets alike, there are ways to squeeze out money. And so here is a little tip for you right now that is in the open market. In fact, actually, you can still make a profit by actually buying these directly off of TCG Player and breaking them down and then reselling them back on TCG Player with just the components. But right now, these can be still purchased at distribution level. So I'm going to give a plug to my Patreon. So one of the reasons why I'd rather just have you guys do the elbow grease work and I get a subscription fee, that to me is a lot more palatable than me doing this work myself. So that's what I say. A lot of the times when people are talking about how they're, flip Pokemon cards, again, if it was that easy, if it was that simple, why aren't big stores or small stores like me engaged in that same sort of behavior? When we realize that there's a lot more to go into the actual purchasing and buying and selling of there's a lot of things that you don't realize that actually will start to cut into your numbers, into your profit margins, and oftentimes it's just not worth it for us to do it. So, like I said, before I had this store and didn't have another outlet of just people coming in and buying cards at MSRP, I used to flip Magic cards. I used to do it to manage my collection. I didn't do it to make a full-time living. I realized that Magic the Gathering was insanely expensive, and I didn't want to spend more on my hobby. At the time, I was trying to play competitive Magic. I had made a pro tour. I was trying to kind of justify that whole scene, and so the only way for me not to go in huge expenses to keep up with the latest decks and stuff was for me to engage in the market. And so I do know the ins and outs of that market, and I do know how the trends work in that. And so it's the same sort of concept in Pokemon as in Magic, is sometimes there are opportunities, what we call like arbitrage from breaking down products. So we have the Trainer's Toolkit here, the Trainer's Toolkit 2022, and this one is valuable and a little bit unknown because it does have Evolving Skies. So the whole point to buying this, so right now, again, back to what I was plugging in my Patreon, if you want to do this, I can get these for you. It's going to take you a lot of elbow grease. I don't know if it's worth it. Sometimes I can break them down for you. If you're going to give me a little bit of tip when they come in, I can just, send you the packs, and, my cut is just the rest of the contents in here. Or we can make a deal. But speaking, if you do want this, reach out to me if you are a patron, and we can see if we can order these in, mass quantities that might be worth it for you to do that. So here, what we have is a Trainer's Toolkit, and I'm actually expecting to see more of this stuff to happen on the TCG market for Pokemon because the Evolving Skies packs are still available in things like this. There are still, yes, booster box prices. Like I said, the lazy way of just buying a booster box is now not something that's feasible for people to do. However, all of the auxiliary products, there are still a glutton of products from the Sword and Shield and the Scarlet and Violet era that do still contain valuable packs. And eventually, it's going to be worth people's time to do this, break them down, and you can see you can actually make a profit. So again, I've rambled for 7 minutes here. Get to the point, Kevin. All right, so this is a Trainer's Toolkit. This will cost around $20 to $22 based upon which distributors used, fees, things like that. Another thing is distributors. If you're using a credit card, a lot of distributors have credit card fees. This particular distributor I'm buying from has a 3% credit card fee, so I have to pay 3% on top of their quoted prices. And then there are also things like handling fees. I figured that when all is said and done with this particular distributor, it costs about 4% to get a product into my hand. And then if you're our patron, there's going to be another 3% PayPal fees on top of that. So right now, I believe it comes about $22 to get a Trainer's Toolkit into your hands if you are a patron. And this is what you end up getting. And this is why I think this one in particular is the most, we guess we can get my ugly mug off here now. This one is one of the better ones for if you do want to put in some elbow grease of being able to get a positive return from just breaking down a product. So first things first, the whole point to this is Evolving Skies. Evolving Skies in this, and I do like Trainer's Toolkit too because the packs aren't completely crushed. So sometimes when you get some of the other auxiliary products, the packs are absolutely destroyed. The cards are still fine, but you'll get a lot of problems too when people are buying loose packs if you do get them from the tins and some of the other, like the Pokeballs. Oftentimes the packs will be absolutely crushed, and you'll get a lot of complaints about that. So Trainer's Toolkits do have that advantage that the packs are pretty pristine and don't have that really crunched up look that you get from the other supplemental products. So Evolving Skies. So currently, let's go ahead and pull up. I'm going to show you the contents, and we'll pull up the prices here. So Evolving Skies is going between $14 and $16, selling all day long. There is quite a few. There's huge inventory for this. That's why I'm saying this pack is not rare whatsoever. There's still plenty on the market. Brilliant Stars is selling for about $4 on the marketplace, and Astral Radiance is selling for about $3.50. Now you got to keep in mind that there are fees associated. If you're just trying to sell per pack, oftentimes the fees will kill you. If you want to ship a pack, it's going to cost you. I'm not sure if you can get away just throwing this in an envelope, but typically speaking, you're going to be like $3 to $4 even to ship a pack, so it's not worth it at that point to do so if you're going to do like priority shipping. Oftentimes, you're going to have to really protect yourself to make sure that people aren't just buying single packs, that they will actually buy multiple packs. Some people do that by putting their shipping price higher, but then you're a little bit less competitive as far as eyes are concerned on places like TCG Player or eBay. But again, that's one of the headaches that you're going to have to realize with taking this route, is there are some consequences to not structuring your shipping and your fees and everything correctly. You could actually lose out just on that. So Astro Radiance, $3.50 a piece. That's $7 there for 2 of them. You got $4 from the Brilliant Stars, 11, and you have, we'll just say $15, so $26. So from the packs alone, it's a pretty decent little profit margin to break these down if you're paying from $20 to $22 a pop for the thing. Now, I do not suggest opening the packs. As I stated on my other videos, this is a loser's game to try to break down packs. Now, if you are a streamer who actually does like the whatnots and the card shop, what's the other one that people do that they actually break packs? I don't even know these days. People actually keep begging me to do this all day long. I don't know if I have the personality for it, and I definitely do not have the time to do that. But maybe in the future, we'll get someone that will actually want to break down, open up packs. I've never understood that too, why people, the rush is opening the pack yourself, isn't it? So what's the rush of actually opening the pack online? I don't get it. I'm just a boomer in that aspect. But anyway, so you already make out about $5, we'll say, from breaking down the packs. So again, that's fees right there could cut into that. But what makes this product even more interesting is then we have the Luminion, which is there will be some supporters in here. There'll be a few other cards in here. But the Luminion will sell for $2 a piece, $1 to $2 a piece, and it sells all day long. And these actual bricks, if you get creative on places like eBay, they can actually sell for upwards to $5. I've seen them go for $5 on eBay. Then you have the brick of energy. This one is pretty crazy because there are some eBay sellers that sell these bricks. I believe these are 120 in here. I'm not quite sure how much is in this, but these will sell, and they sell for anywhere between $3 to $8. I've seen these sell for. And that's what's kind of crazy with the what we call the long tail theory, is like, everyone is looking to buy the booster boxes, the booster packs. You got to realize there is a market with people that are actually building Pokemon decks and need energy. In fact, one of the when you're getting into the hobby, energy is one of the hardest things to come by if you're just actually opening up packs for energy. I know there's one contained in every pack, but you have to get the specific ones. And a lot of new players don't understand, how unimportant energy really is when you're building a 60-card deck. If you have like the right Pokemon or the right supporters and items, you actually don't need to add a lot of energy. But if you're a new player, you're going to be adding like 20 energy. And so a lot of people, when they're building decks and playing decks at the first, is they actually do go and they buy these bricks of energy. And I was actually quite surprised because, these things are as common as dirt. There are so many of these energy bricks out there, but there is still a market for them. And, I'm probably stepping on toes by showing people this, but there is like a market on eBay for selling energy bricks. So another thing you can do creative is just sell the contents. You can sell it like this with the box. I've seen these go from upwards to almost $12 if you were just going to sell the energy brick, the Luminion, the card sleeves, the dice, and whatnot in here. You got the poison, the burn tokens. These will sell for about $12. Again, shipping is what's going to get you. Is these things will cost around $8 to ship oftentimes, because at that point you're in like a small to medium flat rate. So depending on where it's being shipped to, the shipping can actually crush you there. However, there still is profit made if you were just to go that route and wanted even less time of breaking down these products. Another interesting thing is these sleeves. Sleeves sell between $2. If you sell them for $1, they'll fly off. You can find places that will buy these for $1. You'll find actually buy lists that will buy the sleeves for $1 all day long. But these will typically go from anywhere from $2 to $5 depending on these sleeves. This one, being very common, I think goes for about $3 on the open market, and there is actually quite a bit of sales for them. I'm not the biggest fan of Pokemon sleeves. I think they're quite flimsy. We actually sell them to Magic drafters here, so oftentimes at pre-releases, people just want some cheap sleeves. So I think we sell these for like $2, and then people can sleeve their decks. And honestly, too, I have people that sell cards, like just need sleeves for cards, and they'll buy these because oftentimes it's the cheapest route to go is by getting these trainer toolkit sleeves from Pokemon. So all in all, you are looking at it the accessories, you can get anywhere from another $5 to $10, we could say. And so that brings the price up to these Trainer's Toolkits to reasonably thinking that you can squeak out a good $30 to $35 out of these Trainer's Toolkits. So you're making about 50% of your money back if you get very creative with these toolkits. However, I got to give a bit of a disclaimer here with these as well, is this is something that you can't recoup immediately. And that is where I'm warning a lot of, like I said, the finance bros that are trying to act like this is just something like crypto or stocks that you can just click a button and trade. It does not work that way. You have to find the right buyers. And if you want to just sell immediately, you take a massive premium cut by trying to find the buyer that is willing to pay right now. Again, you can find some creative buy lists that will buy the sleeves and the bricks and I'm not sure if Troll and Toad still pays for this sort of stuff, but it used to be there were large sites that would actually buy list energies for a certain amount, like per thousand, like $3 per thousand or $5 per thousand, even $10 per thousand. Those are those routes to go if you just want the quick money. However, if you want the most bang for your buck, it will be breaking this all down and waiting for the buyers to come to you. Waiting, it's going to take time to recoup that capital. That's why you're not going to be wanting to run up credit cards. You're not going to be wanting to do other things that are going to start causing you interest, because the name of the game is putting it on the market, and then you have to wait. And oftentimes, too, it ends up being a big time consumption to then run that online store and make sure you're getting all the product to people. And oftentimes you'll have one sale per day, and it's like, doesn't feel like it's worth your time to load up the computer and get the printer going for one package. But once you get a flow of things, I've known people that have been able to make full-time jobs out of just breaking down stuff like this. And again, this isn't the type of demographic that my videos have been very ranty against. My last videos have been specifically calling out the aforementioned people that are thinking that they're just going to be able to sink money into Pokemon and it's going to magically return them these massive returns. It is not going to. This is a very, very cutthroat market, and the hotter the market gets, the more cutthroat it ends up being, to the point where I've ranted about the soulless basement sellers, why I can't stand them, is many of them refuse to see the writing on the wall when they're not making profit, and they stubbornly, begrudgingly keep grinding away, losing money, and instead of just throwing in the towel and realizing that this is just something that just doesn't work for them or doesn't work for their model. And then when that ends up happening, it just destroys the market for everyone at that point. You have to compete with a lot of people that are making losses. And so that's where a lot of my rants come from. So yes, I don't like that sort of competition. You're right, YouTube commenters. I don't like competing with people that are not making money. It just seems so stupid at that point. But anyway, so what was I with this? Alrighty, so let me pull up actually on the screen to kind of justify some of these prices. So first off the bat, you reasonably could buy right now from some of these lower end prices here. So this one's selling for $30. This one is selling for, so again, if you were to buy that from the distributors for $20, I don't think that you'd get your money back. Like shipping included, of course, you get killed right there. The $10 shipping you have to then compete with. People, it does actually seem sort of reasonable that there isn't a lot of supply out here that you could just list these, but Trainer Toolkits are kind of bulky. I don't think you'd ever get your money back by, buying at $20 and trying to even sell them for $30 on TCG Player within the fees, and the shipping would actually just crush any sort of margin there. So anyway, it could be feasible, though, to even buy it $30. So to go this route from TCG Player, buy it at $30 and break these down and come out with like a $5 profit per box. Again, you'd have to really squeeze all the value out of it. You'd have to wait. It's going to take some time for, like I said, the buyers and to find all the angles to squeeze the money out. But it is possible. So let's go over the prices here. We have Evolving Skies that is selling all day long. About 34 of them sell per day. And if you actually look at the price data, they sell no problem at $16 right now. So after like the fees and stuff, you're looking at like $14. It depends on how you ship them, how you can get them into the user's hands. Unfortunately, there are people that do just buy the one, as you can see here, but there are people that do buy them in 10 ofs, which again is a lot cheaper for you at that point. If you can ship 10 of them to a certain person, you don't get absolutely crushed by the shipping cost to eat into them. But the Evolving Skies is really where this product's at. This is where the profit margins come. This would be the whole reason to do it. As I stated, the Brilliant Stars is also looking pretty good here. 15 sold per day. A lot of people buying multiples. It sells for $4 all day long. And Astral Radiance goes for slightly less. 8 sold per day, but you can see about $3.50 to $4. You can see people do purchase these in large quantities as well. So right there, the packs alone, I think, is where the toolkit is worthwhile. So you see the Luminion, this is the promo version of it. The last one sold for $1.10, and if you don't want to compete with the bottom, there are some. It does look like it. $1.50, $2, $1.25. These do sell, and you can see that they do sell many per day. And this is another thing that I do want to showcase the strength of Pokemon as far as the game. I am not gonna go out with some of the comments and say that no one plays this game. If you look at like things like Battle Pass VIPs and Nest Balls and things that are used as 4-ofs in Pokemon decks, if you guys think that I don't know the Pokemon market, I do know the Pokemon market. I used to actually play. We tried to get Pokemon going at the end of Scarlet and Violet, or end of Sword and Shield into Scarlet and Violet, and we had some trash talking kind of spiky kids that needed to be put in their place. So I built some tier decks, and I learned the kind of the meta and kind of learned the ins and outs of Pokemon and how, what cards were run. And I know that Luminion, this is a card that oftentimes sees 1-ofs in almost all decks because it's just a very flexible card to go in a deck. And so all of this purchasing here, in my opinion, is being purchased by people that are actually wanting to play at. And if a card ever goes under $1, people will buy them up. So there is a whole market of repacking Pokemon cards and putting a V or an EX in the front. So it's like an EX repack, guaranteed V, and the kids eat them up. So if they guarantee, like a lot of kids don't care about the specific card they get, they just care that it's a V because it just, at the playground, you just care about how many Vs you have and whatnot. And so there is a market for, I know, people doing V lots and EX lots and repacks and things like that. And so if the on TCG Player, if a card ever goes under like $1, it doesn't matter what it is, people will buy it up. And so again, there's a market for that. I haven't seen any like sold in high quantities here. Someone bought 8 here a few days ago. But like I said, there is a market for this particular Luminion because it does see a lot of play. And like I said, all these bottom out at a certain price. Usually $1 is where they go. So let's take a look at some of the other things out on eBay. So like I said, you can see basic energy cards. Maybe there's 100 in them. I'm not sure how much is in these bricks. But you can see that people sell them, energy bricks or bigger counts of energy for, you can do lots of them. This one is do 10x 2022 Pokemon Trainer Toolkits, energy for $20. This one's selling for $1, but that's the smaller ones. That is very competitive. I'm not saying you'll get your money back immediately because so many people are doing this, but you can see they do sell. I think I found one that had like over, so this one, what is this one that sold over, one I found had like 267 of these have sold these energy bricks. And I think this is the exact same energy brick. So it is what, 120 of these, and they've sold them for $10, which is crazy that 267 of them sold. So again, it's going to take some marketing. You're going to have to learn eBay. You're going to have to learn how to make sure that your listings go above other people's listings. And it is a game that, this is just something that I've chosen. We haven't done it for years. We haven't even competed in this market because it's very, very time consuming. And you just really have to have that personality that wants to fiddle with things to make sure that your listings are out competing other people's. And it's a very, very cutthroat market. And for Zach and I, it just wasn't worth the headache. It wasn't worth the time hassle. And it's something that we no longer do. Now, eventually, we'll look back into it. We have been looking at adding in another employee that can do more of this online thing. So I think there is money to be made, to be scraped out. And a lot of the things have been building up for 10 years. Here at our store, we have cases and cases, like boxes full of these energies, boxes full of like just things that have been, from every pre-release and every event we've held, we've had a lot of this stuff build up. And I know that there is a market for this type of stuff, and if it can justify hiring on an employee, that's when we'll be ready to do that. But as of right now, this is just something that is not even worth my time to do. But it is something that can be done. And as I stated in this video, this is who you're going to be competing with. So all of you finance bros that are looking to get into flipping Pokemon, you're going to be competing with people that are very savvy with using eBay, with scraping out little profit margins that you are not going to get. And so unless you're willing to put through this elbow grease, I think you're going to get absolutely crushed by the people that are willing to go these levels. But yeah, so last but not least, we can look at the sleeves. They sell all day long. This one's selling for $7 for the trainer's toolkits. And again, you can get creative by selling the Luminian and the sleeves for $9. And you can see that these, if you actually click on how many were sold, these do sell. And here's another thing too that a lot of people don't understand. Sometimes you can actually go on different markets other than TCG Player. Everyone just is so focused on TCG Player and be like, okay, maybe I should try it on eBay. And these actually will sell. eBay's got a different market. Oftentimes it has more of the casual people. It's got the moms and dads that know nothing about the market, and then be like, oh, what can I get for a Christmas present? And these things will show up and they'll buy them. And so, as you can see here, this one has a whole drop down. 508 of these trainers toolkits have actually sold of the 2022, and they sell them for $5. This one's coming from Great Britain though, so of course that's not reliable here for the States, but you can click through this drop down window and you can see that these sleeves do sell. So again, that is like something you can feasibly do if you are looking to get into Pokemon market, and I wouldn't fault you for it. If you want to learn about the ins and outs, if you want to start your little TCG store out of your basement and try to grind out a living, more power to you. I think that there is always room for people to compete in this market. Good, healthy competition is good for this market. I have my qualms about it. I do believe that we should be trying to promote up LGSs where things are actually played. I think there's a big difference with this market than other toy markets where you don't need to play that toy at the store. So I could care less if it was an online store or a brick and mortar store at that point. Of course, I do support Main Street. I wish that more stores would be able to survive in this online market kind of thing. But I understand the convenience of online and ordering online. I do it myself. I'm just a big proponent when I get a little bit kind of emotional about things. I own an LGS and I have a lot of nostalgia of going to LGSs in the past. And I think the beauty and the health of most of these games are dependent on local game stores, on having an actual community for people to play. And I know many of you that are casuals that don't care. Okay, you don't understand it. You don't know why it's important. I'm never going to convince you. But most of the games, even things like board games, have realized that there is definitely a need for an LGS model. But anyway, there you have it. I'm getting called by distributors. I better go answer that. It's never ending here at the store. Here you go. Kevin with Gone Rogue Games. If you're looking for more of this type of content, you can come over to my Rogue Market channel where I talk specifically about Magic the Gathering and these arbitrage opportunities. Thanks for watching.